Good morning everybody, Auronnj here with another War of the Visions video, and today we are going to do our Elsirelle unit review, aka Sleepy Time, aka, that girl who was in the story and like with the spear dude, and yeah, you all know who I'm talking about. Anyway, let's talk about how she fits into this game, what her role in this game is, and like if she's a good unit or not. We're going to give her her final scores, etc. So let's start by looking at a team comp that I've had a lot of success running her in and the role she's been playing for me. I'm going to put that comp on the screen. It is aipOQ Warrior of Light Elsirelle. Now, when you look at this straight away, you might think, this comp might not have a lot of damage in it. And, compared to some like triple Bruiser or like Dark Bro comps or something like that, you're kind of right. However, Elsirelle, look at her stats on the right side of the screen. She has a ton of HP and a ton of resist. She also does a very nice amount of damage. Now, in this group, this is a limited time guild battle group, so I'm not running a bunch of slash attack up. I'm not running all these like group attack buffs. This is a very defense focused build. Now, she's getting some Man-Eater from Odin and all that, but what she's filling, her role in this group, is as a very high damage bruiser. She takes all that HP she's bringing, she takes all those resists she's bringing, and she runs up there with the tank, eats some AoEs, gets healed up, and then just beats down the opponent. Her damage is actually good enough that she can function as the solo damage dealer in a group, as long as you can sustain her. That's what aipOQ is here for. And you see aipOQ has that TMR equipped to help just in case she runs into a little more trouble. Now, one way that Elsirelle can really help your group sustain is with her move Double Resist. I'm going to put her Nightblade main job moves on the screen, highlighting Double Resist. It gives plus 25% to both missile and pierce resist. If you look at her stats, that's putting her up above 60 missile resist in this group just with that buff. She's going to be able to eat 2, 3, 4 missile attacks, catch a Curaga from aipOQ, and just keep on chugging. Now, her slash resist in this group, that 20%, is only from the Solidus Vision card, because that is conspicuously missing, and I do think finding some way to put some slash resist on her is almost necessary, because you don't want her dying to like Agrius or somebody like that. The enemy tank cannot just be putting a beat down on your bruiser, so work some slash resistance into your group somehow or another. A quick aside, she can also function very effectively as an anti-magic bruiser. In her Spellblade sub, which we will show off later in the video, she has access to resist magic, the buff. She has access to a magic shield that's similar to like a paladin's 50% physical damage cut. She has the magic version of that. And she can run one of her support abilities that will give her another 12 magic resist. So if you're anticipating a bunch of magic damage, you can tool her to work that way. Let's show off some of what I'm talking about here in some actual combat videos. Let's do that right now. Okay. So for this first fight, what we have here is we have the same kind of comp we were just looking at as my example, except we're using Ildira instead of aipOQ. They're kind of interchangeable in this group. Ildira is there to keep us alive, sustain through the damage, and we've found a double missile plus a tank comp, something very, very common in the game right now. So here we go. Frederica buffing up, everybody buffing up. Now, if you give Elsirelle bells, she will use them before she uses her buffs. That's an important thing to figure out about units, is do they prioritize using their TMR first, or do they prioritize using their buffs first? Elsie prioritizes using her TMR. Alright, our spacing was good, so the first barrage only hits Warrior of Light. He barely takes any damage. Very nice. Now, Elsirelle's going to put the double resist buff on herself. I want to pause this right here and go back a little bit and show you something. Notice how Warrior of Light is standing on this platform right here. It's impossible to stand on the same height directly next to him. When Elsirelle casts this buff, Double Resist, she's going to get the Pierce Attack and Missile Attack buff only to herself because it has a range height of 0. That is a weakness of that ability and something to pay special attention to if you want her putting that on the rest of your group, which generally speaking you are going to want her to do. Now, it's not going to end up hurting us here because Warrior of Light is a tanky boy anyway. But there you go. There's Elsirelle and Warrior of Light tanking through the first round of damage. Ildira turns around and shoots Warrior of Light in the head because, gunner counterattack move, kind of trolly. Anyway, there's another barrage. Elsirelle hanging on, barely taking damage from these abilities, thanks to her resists. She is to bruisers kind of what Whisper is to tanks. She can just resist through a lot of their damage, and then you bring your sustain person along, keep topping everybody off, and there you go. Maiming slash, big damage. Let's rewind that. That was highlight level damage right there. All right, well, what are we looking at here? Here comes the heal. Good. Now watch her use Maiming Slash. This is the move she likes to use the most. About 4,500 damage to Frederica, it crit, and 2,500 damage to Warrior of Light. Now remember, we're not building a ton of damage in this group, and she's still able to put through those kind of numbers and get a 3-star win. If this was actual Guild Wars, we would be able to go on to our next fight, Ildira would heal us up, and we'd have a pretty good chance of scoring 3 again if we could find more missile opponents. Okay, let's go to the next fight. Okay, so for this one, we have found an all-magic team, so we can show off the anti-magic bruiser that is Elsirelle. We've swapped Agrius in for Warrior of Light because Agrius is a little bit better of a magic tank than he was, and this should solve the problem of like that range height buffing thing that we ran into last time. So again, here's bells for Elsie. She'll start like that every time. There's the TMR from Ildira, cool. And we are going to have Agrius keep using Saintly Wall, just because we don't want Warrior of Light like beating her up. We're going to get the magic resist from the rest of our team. Okay, enemy buffing moving forward, normal stuff. There's magic resist from Ildira, and there's magic resist from Elsie. Now watch this, Auronnj, 1900. You can live with that on your not tank. Then Agrius just walks up and slaughters her because of that elemental resist. Here comes Sakura's limit break. What kind of damage are we looking at here? What, a total of 700 on Elsie and a total of 3 on Agrius. So you can see, oh, we're going to get a cure, and we're nearly full health after eating the entire opening round from the enemy. Now we can just move forward. Elsie's here to just keep beating on people. In fact, Agrius in this group has so much magic resist that it was better for Sakura to hit her with her staff than to use the magic attack. So that's that utility that Elsirelle can bring to a fight. Now, here's a Water Aga on Warrior of Light. Cool, he takes a bunch of damage. Sakura, 1200 on Agrius, and then boom, Maiming Slash. Sakura goes down. You can really see how much Elsie likes to use that Maiming Slash. It is her bread and butter move so far. Now, we did get to see her triple hit healing attack, and in fact, let's rewind to that part in the fight and see what kind of work it does. Okay, she's going to walk up to Warrior of Light, 1, 2, 3. Total damage approaches 2,000, and the heal is about 546. So not a huge heal, but that was on the tank, and the heal is a % of the damage dealt. It's a good move. It did significant damage to the tank, and it provides some more sustain for what's turning out to be a really nice bruiser unit in Elsirelle. Okay, let's go to the end of the video now and wrap this up with some final thoughts and grades for this unit. Alrighty, let's put those scores on the screen and talk about them line by line. First of all, damage. You could see that her damage was significant. It was very good. And remember, there was no slash attack up card in that group. There was no attack up card in that group. There was nothing like that. We were getting those levels of damage with just Odin equipped to her, that by the way was also making her even more durable with that single unit damage resist. So I'm going to give her a 92 on damage. It's good. Her damage is on par with where it needs to be in the game right now. Her AoE ability, I'm going to give her an 85. She has good AoE, and in fact, the move she likes to use the most does hit in a cross AoE. Now, she's not Frederica or Sakura, who have these massive long-range, huge AoE abilities, but her AoE is not trivial, and when the move your unit likes to use the most happens to hit in an AoE, it's going to be pretty good. Okay, utility. This is her best score to me. The double resist buff by itself is super good. The fact that she can bring that and a missile resist buff, and she can take care of herself with a missile shield, that's phenomenal. She also has a little bit of healing. I think her utility in a group is her strongest thing, and it makes me very excited about using her in a lot of metas for a long time. Okay, movement. I'm going to give her a 72. She has a base 3-1 move, which isn't great. However, you don't want her having too much more move than that, because if she had more move, she might be able to get in range of the enemy too early and not get all of her buffs off. With a unit like this, I really like having them use bells and then be able to buff, instead of just having bells and then immediately being in range to charge forward and start doing damage. So much of the usefulness of this character comes out of her buffs, so her low movement is not as bad as it could be. However, I wouldn't mind having the ability to like turn that up and down with some moves or something like that, so I'll just give her a 72. Speed, she's fast, I'll give her a 90. She's not lightning fast, but she's not slow. Her speed is good, 90. And then durability, I'm going to give her a 92 on durability. You saw she was taking lots of hits, especially from the missile comps. She can also take magic damage, and a lot of the time when you're using a DPS unit, right? Even though she's a bruiser, you don't want them dying from random AoEs. You don't want little Leela dropping a Auronnj and killing her. Well, that's not going to kill Elsie. Her durability is plenty fine. I still recommend bringing a healer to keep her topped off, especially in Guild Wars, so she's plenty healthy going into fight 2. And then overall, I'm going to give her a 90. That's a A-, which is a dang good score. This unit's really fun. She looks really cool. She has a cool looking limit break. Her theme is kind of weird, like Sleepy Time, but it lends itself to good nicknames, and there's something to say for that. So, yeah, that's what I got, guys. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video.